Chris, here we are, recap of episode 9 with our very own at-home Vice President of Liberty Home Mortgage, Melissa Smith.
The firefighter.
Yes.
She's putting out fires.
Firefighter. And from what I hear, too, I wasn't here. Were you here for the Olympics they did back in 2018? No? They did, like, company Olympics,
That was, like, 6 months before I started.
Okay. And I heard she was not, because she did, like, the Army recruiting stuff, so she must have some decent shot or something like that. But I heard they did, like, something with Nerf guns, and she was picking down these targets. But,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, yeah, pretty cool story there. I didn't realize she was like something totally away from this kind of line of work. I mean, she was in firefighting, the Army recruiting type stuff that she was, or the contract work she was doing for them. So, and then she does an amazing job for our company here, and she's, plays one of the very integral roles as number 2 in the company.
Mm-hmm. And I think she's just such an iconic person, just because of what she's been through. And obviously, like, we are putting emphasis on it because she's in a male dominated industry, and she sets herself apart as just being super high up in the company. But I don't see it like that. I see it like, dude, she's just a tremendous leader in general. And I think there's a ton of things I'd take away from her just in that aspect, because she's just very headstrong. She just always knows what she's talking about. She'll never make a rash decision, she's very different than Hesh in some aspects, but similar in others. So it's just like learning from her and, honing my skills, especially aside just from mortgages and everything too.
Yeah. I liked her response to that. I mean, even bringing it up myself, like, it's not necessarily that I even care about it, and I don't mean not care about it in the sense of like, oh, it's not an issue to me, but like, I don't look at it as, oh, it's a male-female thing in any way. But I like how she responded to that, how she was saying like, oh, I don't even look at it like that. Like, I don't know. I just kind of show up and do my job. I like that. So hopefully she's an inspiration, not only to females, males, but both as well, to just kind of, you put yourself in the right position. And I just feel like she's always somebody that has said yes in her career. Like, anytime there's an opportunity, she just says yes, and she takes it on and she learns. And that's one thing I liked as well with the story, when kind of like the inception of Liberty Home Mortgage, where she was like, it was literally, I was processing, which I was figuring out everything, how to fund a loan, how to close a loan, how to sell a loan, how to get the package ready, this and that. And she just kept saying yes to these new obstacles and these new things that she can learn, to the point where now it puts her in a position where she knows every department. And any person in any department in our company can come to her, even the department heads. Lisa Semnator from post-closing, go to Melissa and get a question answered.
Yeah. It's very, like, Grant Cardone talked about, and I don't know if maybe you saw that and that's what you're talking about, maybe. But Grant Cardone was talking about once at one of his seminars, he's like, I hate the term, like, learn to say no. It's like, no doesn't get you opportunities. Saying yes gets you opportunities. And I'm not a tremendously big fan of Grant Cardone, but I like what he's saying, like, yes gets you opportunities, no turns them down. Obviously, I think you get to a certain point in your career where you can say no, but when you're early on, you just, you're right, just say yes to as many things as you can and commit yourself. Make those commitments, make those opportunities, show up. I liked everything that she was saying. I mean, if you weren't in mortgages, would you know anything about the mortgage process? I mean, I guess that's different. Because your dad. Yeah, but even then, like, despite the fact that I grew up around him for the time that he did have his company, I still, coming in, I was very ignorant on a lot of the things. I think it was easier for me to just pick up the normal business talk, but I couldn't, like, chime in. You know what I'm saying? So no, I would say no. I mean, this job in itself over the past, what is now my 4th calendar year, is what has taught me everything I know about this. So no, I would answer no to your question.
So Chris, remind our viewers again who it is we are and what we do.
Hey guys, both Dominic and I are loan officers here at Liberty Home Mortgage. So if you or anyone you know is looking to purchase or refinance a home, please email us at the elevateclepodcast@gmail.com. Subject line, looking to purchase or refinance a home. Email's in the description. What I get by that, what I'm saying is mostly just because she didn't really have a background in mortgages, and a lot of the seasoned people that we work with who are, 10, 15 years our senior, they were all in the game before 2000, but before Dodd-Frank, before the 2008 recession and everything, and they were able to see that kind of transition. Melissa came in right when it was right after in 2014. Really when they started rolling out they took out GFEs. Now it's the loan estimate, CD, Dodd-Frank. Now we have all these new regulations and everything. So she came into a situation where she had to take on so much of a massive role and wear so many different hats and understand the process so quickly. So I just commend, that's really cool. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah. I think what she exemplifies is what opportunity you can kind of create for yourself if you commit yourself to truly learning every aspect about something. So, I know a lot of people, and it even pops in my mind all the time, and I know we talk about it like, oh, how can I create multiple streams of income? And a lot of people think like, oh, well, let me, if I learn some of this, I could do some of this crypto, I could do some of this stock, then I could do something on Etsy, which is, could be a hobby. That's cool. Yeah, I could do NFTs. I could do whatever like the fads are, right? You can jump in all these different things that you can do. But I think she has shown where like if you just commit to learning one industry and one specific thing, you can make a killing at it. And Hesh is also doing that too, right? I've had like conversations with him about it where it's like, if you look back at Henry Ford, what did Henry Ford perfect? He perfected like the assembly line as well as, the Model T cars, okay? And in mass production. That was his thing. He wasn't involved in so many other different things. He focused his sole purpose on that, and look what he did. Look at Hesh. Hesh doesn't go up for as much as we know, but he does. Because I've even asked him before. He's like, every dollar goes back into the company. Every dollar. And look what he does. He's committed himself to mortgages. You don't see Hesh going around, getting on planes and going and meeting with, food group companies in New York or Miami and buying buildings over here and that. He literally learns everything he can about mortgages and continues to do so. And he pours everything into this, and he makes all his money. He makes a ton of money here, right? So I think she exemplifies that, aligning with him, how if you commit yourself to what you're in now or to one specific industry, kind of the potential that it creates in that one sole industry.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what Brian Coaster said when he was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, when he's like, you have to be able to manage at an enterprise level before you're ready to take on the diversification. And I love that. I think that makes so much sense, because how can you manage multiple streams of income if you can't manage your core business? You know what I mean? So learn how to budget, learn how to manage, learn how to lead, learn the ins and outs of your business, perfect everything. And then you're ready to start taking on other hats or, wear different hats. And I think that's, honestly, I don't know, man. I think it's definitely something that I'd like to follow too.
100%. I agree.
But yeah, what else? What else did you kind of get from her?
Obviously, it just something a little bit more personal to people like you and I and the people in the room. I'm confident to be on the boat that she's on and leading, So,
co-captain.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for us just because we know her and Ian, who she referenced a lot, and Hesh obviously like on a more intimate level just because we see them every single day. But as much as we can convey the fact that like working for these people is actually amazing, I would just say working with them is amazing. Words don't even put it into justice. If you're local and you're in the area too and you listen to this, like reach out to Chris and I, just come see this place so you understand like what it is we actually brag about every single week, and come meet Melissa. That's one thing too. I mean it when I say it, like she's a part of the team of everybody who's just completely welcoming and creates a welcoming culture in this place. So, a lot of business stuff aside, obviously she does a great job with what it is she does and the position that she's in, and she makes a lot of hard decisions for the company and a lot of the decisions that are bouncing off of Hesh's mind and stuff.
Pivotal decisions.
Yeah, she mediates a lot. All that aside, she's an amazing person to work with.
I feel very confident knowing that they've read Good to Great, Built to Last by Jim Collins, and that when they've done these, vast studies with different companies that maintain longevity and obviously very stable profits, they exemplify the same kind of leaders that are have that longevity. They're not getting on planes and going on vacation. They're not taking that money and buying new cars. They're not doing all this stuff that's not productive, So, I mean, it's very comforting to me to know that top down, we have like very good leaders in the company that won't go ahead and just splurge on a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they are reinvesting every single dollar back into the company. That makes me feel very safe and confident as an employee.
That's right. That's right. I think what it does too is it creates this, at least if you recognize, obviously there are people that come and go, and this place might be a stepping ground for some people or a stepping stone. That's completely fine. For somebody like in our shoes, you and myself, I think it allows us the opportunity as well to, Matt Lubtech talks a lot about where a lot of your confidence stems from market, right? And how receptive is your product in the market? Obviously, home buying is. So our product is very receptive in the marketplace. People need mortgages. They generally want to speak to us. It might not be us specifically, but they want to speak to somebody in our shoes. All that stuff aside, knowing that there might be market fluctuations and ups and downs for the company and even ourselves in production, this and that, it's great knowing that we're still on their boat, because I just feel like I've told you before, like when we grabbed a beer at Wink and Lizard, like wherever you're at, I want to be on your team, because I see how you operate, I see how you work, I know how I operate, but me aside, I want to follow you. I want to be on your team. That's how I feel about them. I could go through 6 months of hell here, not make a paycheck. To me, I'm not thinking, let me jump ship and let me figure out something else, because I trust their process and I trust what they have as well.
Yeah. I love the analogy with, just if I am, if I'm on, a ship with them and Melissa and Hesh are at the helm, and there's a huge tsunami or, whatever hurricane coming, and we're going through a lot of rough tides and everything. I feel very comfortable knowing that they're at the helm, and that they're the ones steering the ship and everything. And it's such a good analogy for our industry, or for our job, just because, dude, you do have the ups and downs with, everything, with, money, or if it's having a bad month or whatever it may be. But over the long haul, as long as you trust the process and put the work in, everything else is going to take care of itself. You know what I mean? And I love that. I'm really glad from a macro level that, from a micro level, that we have companies, or we have individuals that are leading companies like Liberty Home Mortgage, like good people, because on the macro level and aggregate, we need that to help the country, I think. You need good companies and good people like Melissa, like Hash, like you and I, that are helping steer people into the right direction. There's no taking advantage of clients. There's no taking advantage of customers. We're putting them into the right products. We're putting them into the right homes, stuff that they can afford. Whereas, I don't know, like a lot of, especially pre-2008, that was very bad lending.
Yep.
You're screwing people over, and that hurts the country. It's very sobering to know that we have a very good leadership team that does have people's best interests at heart.
Yeah, I agree, 100%, top down. Even with who she mentioned, Ian, a lot, I think one thing to also take note of is the fact that she said, like, you never know who it is you're going to end up, like, coming back in circle with in business. Like, to always treat people well. I mean, think about that. Ian worked below her. Her recruiting, the Army recruiting office was above Ian's shop at the time, his mortgage branch. And just in passing was always, like, polite with them, pleasant, had conversation, etc. Then all of a sudden, like, she's the vice president, Ian's the op manager one day, and they're like leading the same company, So cool. And she wasn't even in the industry at that time. She wasn't even in the industry. So it's also just advice, I think a good point of advice to ensure that, like, when you're committed to any sort of business or just in life in general, you never know when things are going to come back full swing. Just a way to treat people and, to connect with people, network and talk and put yourself out there.
I think that's just good life advice in general, just because you never know when an opportunity is going to hit you in the face.
That's right.
And you just could be, it kind of goes back to what you and I talk about. Like, you put good energy out into the universe. It has that boomerang effect where you throw good energy out there, eventually it's going to come back and hit you. It may take some time. It may take 30 days. It may take 30 years. But eventually it'll come back and hit you.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, I mean, I think if you're just like a very, for lack of a better term right now, like if you're a very sinful person, I guess, and you practice sin, I guess, you're greedy, you take advantage of people. I think that eventually that, you're putting bad energy out into the universe, that boomerang effect's going to come back and hit you eventually, So I think that's a really good life lesson, just to say, like, just be good to everybody. Just be nice. Yeah. Just be a good person.
Yeah, be a good person.
You don't have to like them or like be super super friendly with them, but you don't have to like not give them the time of the day.
It's respect.
Yeah.
Respect the fact that it's another life being walking this planet with a lot of similar stuff compared to you, whether you believe it or not. A lot of the same inner struggles. I would argue the person you don't like has a lot of the same inner struggles that you do. But that doesn't mean it's one, a welcome mat for you to be a mat to just be walked all over, but also two, you don't have to like everybody, at the end of the day. But it's just a matter of respect. It's a matter of respect. It's respecting. I may not like everything that you do, but I respect your opinion, the fact that you, as an individual, have that opinion and can formulate that. And that also, too, understanding that your opinion is formulated off of your psychology of how it is you were domesticated in life, how it is you were completely brought up, taught, and raised, and what you saw and what your family went through might be completely different than what it is I project out now because of what it is I went through, which is why I think it's dumb that we have arguments in life in general. I think it's stupid because we're all blind. Every single person is blind to the person sitting next to them. You're even blind to your siblings.
Yeah.
We all process things differently. So everybody's blind.
That makes sense.
So all in all, though, if this is what you're seeing first, go back and listen to the episode with Melissa. And again, if you are in the Cleveland area, seriously, contact Chris and myself. Doesn't matter if you know us or if you got turned on to this by somebody. DM us. Come check this place out. We would love to walk you guys around. We serve lunch every day at 11:30.
Come for lunch.
Chef Tony would love to have you. Breakfast is 10:30 on Thursdays if you want that. But come check this place out. Really, not only is it an awesome place, but we do have amazing leadership like Melissa,
Jason
who runs
Theory
this place.
It was one of the most unique places he's seen, and he's been in business for 20 plus years.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
in the Cleveland area.
That's right, man.
So
all good stuff. All good stuff. Any closing thoughts, Chris?
Just excited to get the next one.
That's right, man. That's right.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Elevate Cleveland podcast. Dominic, wrap it up for us.
As Chris stated at the beginning of this podcast, we are licensed loan originators for the best mortgage company in the land. That is Liberty Home Mortgage. Guys, if you or anybody you know is looking to purchase or refinance a home, doesn't matter if you've done this 1, 10, or 100 times, call us, email us. The email is in the description below. Reach out to that email. In the subject line, put looking to purchase / refinance a home. Whatever it is your goal is, Chris and I will reach out to you within 24 hours, and we look forward to helping you with whatever it is your specific home goal is. Thank you.
So we will see everybody here. It is Monday, so finish up your Monday well. This is episode 9 recap with Melissa Smith. Chris and I appreciate any and all support, and we will see you guys on Friday.